Hello. Hello. So, uh, one D&D just came out with their new update that includes clerics and revised species, as well as a few other rules and bits. So, we're gonna take a look at that, like we did the last time. So, to start off with, the beginning stuff all seems pretty much the same. No real changes to the intro part. But let us jump into the cleric. Now, clerics have had some strangeness done to them, as far as I'm concerned. One of the more recent characters I have played myself was in fact a cleric. In fact, I might be playing them again shortly. So, yeah, these are a little more important to me than otherwise. So, at first level, we don't get a subclass like we used to. Instead, we get Channel Divinity and Spellcasting. Channel Divinity does get one nice upgrade. Well, two. The first is that the number of uses are based on your proficiency bonus. That is a nice upgrade. Very nice. It used to be hard to get those Channel Divinity increases because most of your abilities are tied to that. So, yeah. They also added a new Channel Divinity feature, Divine Spark, which is basically a modified healing word that you can use with Channel Divinity. Decent, like, base heal. You can also do a little bit of damage with that. I am not sure it's actually worth it. I mean, Channel Divinity features Turn Undead isn't, like, game-changing, but a lot of the subclasses would use Channel Divinity. So, like, my own cleric was a Twilight Domain cleric. And, her big ability used Channel Divinity. So, super, super important to get those in. And that is such a much better ability than, like, Divine Spark. It's, like, not even funny. I like the idea, but I wish it would have been more like Prayer of Healing and less like Healing Word. I feel that was a better place to take it. In fact, we'll look at Prayer of Healing in a little bit. Spellcasting, they're prepared spellcasters now, so very familiar based on the other ones we've seen. I think everyone is going to be a prepared spellcaster. Holy Orders, though, at second level, is a feature that really annoys the heck out of me. So Holy Orders are roles that you're supposed to have taken on, like Protector, which gives you martial weapon proficiency and heavy armor training. However, these to me feel more like they should be part of the subclass. They're like subclass light. Why? Why? Why do you do subclasses twice? That makes no sense. It seems you only did it because you wanted subclass to be at third level. So, yeah. I don't really like that part. It does allow for some nice customization. But, yeah, I think that should really be part of the subclass. It feels just really weird to me to do it twice. So, yeah. Normal things like your feet at fourth, Smite Undead. I don't think that's really changed too much. Though, I think it might have been a paladin ability before, or at least it feels like it. I'd have to double check. My old cleric was actually 4th level when the campaign ended, unfortunately. So that was my most recent experience as a player with these. So I never got to that level. Subclass feature again at 6. Blessed Strikes. Which seems to be a buff for cantrips. Because Divine Power infuses you in battle when a creature takes damage from one of your cantrips, which they call 0 level spells here, and I hate that, or attacks with weapons. You can also deal 1d8 radiant damage to the creature. Once you deal this damage, you can't use this feature again until the start of your next turn. I like that there's no resource. Having a damage boost for clerics is probably a solid idea. Yeah. I don't really have any issues with that. Kind of like it all around. But that's gonna trail off pretty quick as far as power level goes. Another feat. Holy Order once again. Apparently you've gone back to school, and now you can become a protector, or scholar, or thaumaturge. Even though you didn't at level 2. Again, that feels like it should be part of the subclass, and not its own thing. Especially since you get your next subclass feature right after. I would really like to see those wrapped up into the subclass. It might give each subclass a little bit more, but yeah. Divine Intervention. I've hated the mechanic for Divine Intervention since, like, 1st edition days. I'm not a fan. Yeah, I could see something like it, but I'd want to change that somehow. I don't know how yet, but I would want to change it. Feats again. Nothing at 13th level. In fact, 13th, 15th, and 17th, you just don't get anything except spells. Which feels like crap. I'm just gonna put that out there. I know there's a feeling that there's too many feats for some characters, and they can't remember what abilities they have, but yeah, I just don't like any part of skipping those. It feels like you should gain something important at any given level. So, if the main class doesn't get anything, then the subclass certainly should. Though, they made the decision to tie them all together, so all subclasses are at the same points in the scale, which I think is why you get that. Personally, I, on my own, would probably change that up somehow. Greater Intervention is the, like, pan-ultimate ability for the class. Really, all it does is gives you an automatic success on your attempt at Divine Intervention. Yeah, I just don't like that in concept. I'm still not sure what I'd give them instead. But we have lots of holes in here that I think we need to work with. So, yeah, a lot of things to add in or return. I'm not going to look up the normal cleric and take a look, but we'll get into that at some point, I'm sure. Hopefully we see another version of this again. I do kind of like their prepared spells list, though why you would take Cure Wounds when Healing Word is a thing is kind of beyond me. I know why I did as a player choice, but it was entirely thematic for why I did it. Yeah, having the option to use it as a bonus action and one that has range is just too good. Too good. Bless, again, solid ability. Not sold on Shield of Faith. So, yeah, that can be anything. But Guiding Bolt, Spiritual Weapon, definitely spiritual weapon. One of the best things to do to gain something to do with your bonus action. Besides healing. Spirit Guardians, also very solid. Guidance, I would have taken earlier. I've never found Spare the Dying very useful. Maybe some people do. Maybe. I just never have. So, yeah, I would have probably put Guidance in there. It's sort of the quintessential, like, cleric ability for boosting your party. Aids, don't really care about. Yeah. We do now, though, after we finish this, get a little luck. And, they only go up to 7th level spells for their, pre-done options. But, yeah, they get 9th level. I'm not quite sure why. Oh, they do talk about it here. It's just apparently the last one you get is the 7th level. Which is a little bit odd. And Mass Heal. I don't know. I'd have to look at spells. The balance for spells feels a little bit off for me. But the only subclass that they offer at the moment is the Life Domain. Which, of course, does get some extra spells. Lesser Restoration, Prayer of Healing. No Healing Word. Maybe they got rid of Healing Word? That would be super bad. It is easily the best one. Plus, there's a Mass Healing Word. So, yeah, I'm not sure why you would do that. Revivify. Basically what you would expect. Even Mass Cure Wounds. Which is a much better spell than Basic Cure Wounds. But you don't get it until 9th. So, yeah. Blessed Healer again. Supreme Healing. Pretty much like you would expect. It looks very much like the original version. Alright, then let's look at species. I'm not going to talk too much about their change from race to species. In my own campaigns, it's Ancestry. Just like it is in Pathfinder. So, yeah. A little bit different. But it really doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't... Ardlings, though. I like what they did here. They changed it up. Now you choose a type. Climbers, flyers, racers, swimmers. I'm not sure I'd put a Triceratops and a dog in the same category. But, sure, why not? They also get a little bit of divine magic. It feels a lot better to me than the Force having of like flight. So yeah, the old version, all of them had flight. They felt a lot less thematic, and I think a lot of people felt the same way and gave them feedback on that, which would explain why, it looks like this now. Dragonborn does get some changes. The one I hear a lot of people talk about is Draconic Flight. That is a very big change at 5th level. They grow spectral wings and get to fly for up to 10 minutes. Personally, I would have done Draconic Flight as gaining natural wings. And, yeah, as you grow, I would increase the time. So, maybe you start with being able to fly for your turn. So every turn you'd have to land before you could fly again. It's a very common ability around 5th level, at least for certain classes. Being able to go up in the air as part of your movement, but you have to end on some solid surface where you fall. That feels very appropriate at 5th level. And then I would have had that scale. Like, say, 7th level, now it's 1 turn. Like, not as, like, part of your movement, but just you can fly for 1 turn. Or maybe 2. Let's go with 2. Since it was just a single turn, now it's 2 turns. Maybe we even tie it to some other number. I'm not sure what I would do exactly, but I'd have it build up until eventually, maybe when your character level is 20, you can fly as often as you want. All day, every day, just fly. That feels better to me. But, you have to take the time and the growth to get there. But Dragonborn usually don't have wings. Which is probably why they do this whole weird spectral wings thing and getting temporary flight. I would handle this differently. In fact, I did in my own setting. My equivalent of Dragonborn gets flight as a racial or ancestral feat. So, if you happen to be a member of the race, or species, or ancestry, whatever you feel like calling it, then you can choose to take flight. And when you do, it starts out as a basic ability and it builds. I forget how I scaled it right now, but yeah. You start off with, flight for basically 1 turn, and then it advances from there, growing and growing. But they just gain wings if they take that option. They don't have to worry about, spectral wings, or using a bonus action to do, the spectral wings. They just unfurl the wings and hop into the air. Goliaths, though, I do like the big change here, tying them more into giants. And there's different types with different abilities. I love the thematic feel of that. They even now get to be large. But as a bonus action, yeah, I'm not sure I'd go with that. I would go more towards the feet. I think it was oversized or something. You were treated as large for most abilities, but you still only took up the size of a medium creature. I felt that felt a lot better. Didn't have any sort of bonus action to it. You're not suddenly growing in, stature. Yeah. But a lot of good features. I kind of like the feel, except for the bonus action again. They really love to take your bonus action in this edition. Once those are done, we're gonna go pretty much right through most of these. There aren't a lot of updates. They did add some weird epic boons, like True Sight. True Sight is a boon. It's a good ability. I'm not sure if it's worth a level 20 feat to get it. Maybe. And epic boon of spell recall. You just get to recast or cast for the first time without expending a slot. Any spell of 5th level or lower. At level 20, I don't know. I don't really feel that at level 20. I think your basic, wizard ability that you get at, first level would be able to give you a 5th level spell slot back on just, a short rest. Obviously, this doesn't require a rest, but, yeah, it just feels not enough, and I'm not sure how I would change it off the top of my head. Epic Boon of Fate. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like that or not either, but, I don't really want to dig into that. It feels like the luck ability, but you can use it on other people. Aid, I don't like Aid, the way they do it here. It never really grows unless you cast it at higher level. And, For second level, giving you 5 temper HP is not very much, even if it is 6 targets. You get like your whole party, but yeah, 5 temper HP is kind of low. That's maybe a hit, and it's a second level spell. So it's competing with like spiritual weapon and bless. I don't think it's worth it. Personally, Aid is one of the spells that I was reworking. It automatically grows the way I did it. And can be kind of terrifying if cast at a high enough level. Mostly because I gave it your character level and temporary HP. So, if you take it at 3rd level, which is the first time you get to use 2nd level spells, you only get 3. But, very quickly, as you gain levels, it becomes a lot stronger. And if you upcast it, it basically multiplies. So, like, if you're casting it at, say, 3rd level, and to have 3rd level spells, you are level 5. So, let's say you're level 5, so you have the 5 temporary HP, you upcast it, now it is doubled. So, you have 10, which would be the same as what they show here. However, if you cast it at 4th level, and you're now level 7, that's 7 times 3, and now you're at 21. With this, you'd have 15. So, you very quickly start to scale. And at level, like, 20, if you're ever level 20 in a campaign and using this, at first, or rather 2nd level, it's automatically 20 HP to everyone, which is pretty solid, even if you just have, an extra 2nd level spell slot. But if you upcast it as 9th level, and you're looking at like 100 plus HP. Yeah, it's one big lump sum that would be very helpful and very powerful as an advantage for your team. But let's go on. They list spells. A lot of the same things we've seen. A new version of Bark Skin. It does temp HP. They like using temp HP this time around. I've been using that myself a little bit lately. Dash actions, stays, divine spells. Yeah, Healing Word is right here. I am again not sure why they wouldn't choose to use Healing Word. It's generally the superior option. Exhausted is in here, and it's new flavor again. Grappled, they go a little bit about that. Yeah, I think Guidance is still the same version. I don't really see any changes. Well, actually, I do. There is one change. This one doesn't have the limit to once a day. At least nowhere that I can see, which is very useful. Is closer to the old version. It still uses a reaction. Yeah, I like this version. I don't see any reason not to basically use this. Though it's only... Well, it just says ability check. So maybe not combat? But, yeah, I kind of like that version better. I'd have to look at it more to get a feel. Let's see, what else we got? Hidden, hide. I know there's a couple other things I noticed real quick. Most of these feel more or less the same. Oh, Prayer of Healing. It got a really weird twist, which is that, right here. Each of those creatures who remains within range of the spell's entire casting gains the benefits of a short rest and regains hit points. The hit points part is normal. The short rest, not so much. I mean, obviously, this takes 10 minutes. You would usually do it as part of a short rest. But being baked into the spell means it might take up your short rest. Depending on how your DM or GM considers that. That may be good, that may not, depending. It also gives you the option that maybe no one chooses to short rest, but just by spending 10 minutes next to you, they've now used their short rest. So, yeah, I'm not sure how I like that. I feel it's nice to have it said, but I'm not sure, like, conceptually, that really changes anything. This is my one least favorite thing ever. They changed spiritual weapon. It is now concentration. I know why. Spiritual weapon was the godsend to everyone that had a bonus action and couldn't use it for anything productive. I mean, it was. You didn't have to concentrate, so you could still do, like, Bless and Spiritual Weapon. But, yeah, Bless doesn't take up your bonus action after you cast it. So, you would be concentrating on Bless, but get to have tossed out your Spiritual Weapon. And you could just move it with a bonus action. Now your bonus action is useless once more. Once you're concentrating. Once you've concentrated on anything, suddenly, no spiritual weapon, no... I mean, spiritual weapon was basically the extra attack for clerics. I do not understand why you would change this. Because clerics didn't get extra attack. So, if they wanted to militarize or weaponize their bonus action, this was the way to do it. It would give you 2 attacks per turn. Yeah, I don't like the concentration part. Everything else is basically the same, except that you get to upcast it. Maybe upcasting it is why they made it concentration. I still don't care. I want my non-concentration spiritual weapon. Otherwise, it all seems basically the same, except you can upcast it. I don't know why you would, though. It doesn't do a lot of damage. I mean, over time, it might. But, yeah. It's only 1d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier per hit. And you get an extra d8 for every spell slot higher that you use. So you cast it at 9th level for some crazy reason. And you're only dealing 8d8 damage plus your spellcasting modifier, which isn't that much. I mean, that's not bad damage, but I'm not sure that change is worth it. It does let the damage scale with you if you want to, bring it up, but most people never did that. You would just use the basic 1d8. It does about the same damage as your main hand weapon. It was like having extra attack. I mean, obviously at 2nd level, because you get a lot of 2nd level spell slots, and there's not that much else to use it on. I'm sorry, I'm ranting again, I know. They talk about teleportation a little bit, tremor sense, true sight, what they actually do. They add some options for unarmed strike. You can now either do damage, grapple, or shove. kind of like what they did back up here with the grapple ability or grappled condition. Yeah, there were different options as part of that. But unarmed strike can now just grapple. So you make your attack, and then to escape you if you hit, there's an escape DC. So, yeah, makes grappling a little more common. Ironically, I did the same sort of thing, except I made it an ability in Celestia, my D&D campaign. When I rejiggered things there, for fighting styles there, grapples are one of the things. Different sorts of grapples do slightly different things, but they're all basically grapples. Yeah. And they all basically do the same thing. You have to escape from it to get rid of whatever the condition is. Yeah. Basically, this feels a lot like they're starting to add the things I did with fighting styles, which are basically martial arts in my campaign. It's just very primitive here. But I think that's it. So, we have taken a look. I didn't talk as much as I would have considered for some things, and I ranted longer about others. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Still, Holy Order is my least favorite change to the Cleric. And yeah, that and, the change to Spiritual Weapon are sort of my really most hated things. Second only to these levels, you don't actually get anything except the spell. I mean, some spells are good, but I don't think they're worth the same thing as a more complete feature. Anyways, that was my thoughts. So, I hope you had fun, and take care. I'll see you later. Bye.